Okay, so I thought I'd make this video. Today's January 16th, 2020, and it marks 1 year that we lost our mom. She died January 16th, 2019. She was 48 years old. And to say that this past year has been easy, it hasn't. So although I'm smiling and although we can put cheer on us, there have been times that have been very hard. Experiencing holidays for the first time, birthdays, Mother's Day, my kids' birthdays. It's been very, very hard and sometimes, and it comes in waves. There's some days where are easier and you're not even thinking about the loss or the absence of a person, and then boom, it turns into something completely different where you hear them, or consciously you can hear their voice, or you can see how they would react to something, and it brings back memory of who they are. And I think that's beautiful, is the memory that you have with somebody. But to do my mom complete justice, I felt like I would share something that has been close and near dear to my heart. And I've always had it in my own testimony. When will I share this? When will I bring something out in our story of mine and my mom's that could bless somebody? Because there's such beauty in my mom and I's relationship from past. I'm my mom's second born. There's Jesse, myself, Rebecca, Nate. And I was my mom's trouble child, to say the least. I had her fight in her pizzazz, you know what I mean? And I was always running my mouth. I was always doing things that I probably shouldn't have been doing. And I know I probably notched a couple gray hairs on her head. But I promise I'll try my best not to get emotional or anything like that. And if I do, in Jesus' name. But I wasn't my mom's easiest child. We shared a very, very tough, rough relationship growing up. There were times where we didn't speak. There were times where we didn't get along, and I was always bumping heads with her because at that age, just so immature, so dumb, so selfish, admitting about myself. I couldn't flow with rules. I couldn't flow with how she wanted things. When she'd tell me shut up, I'd talk back. When she'd tell me knock it off, I'd do it more. And I was that kid that always pushed the envelope and pushed your limitations as a kid, right? And so me and my mom's dynamic growing up, it got really, really ugly. Towards 13, 14, 15, I remember saying in my heart, I never want a wife like her, because I felt she was so mean in my own experience. And that's not to disrespect my mom at all. You're talking about a 13 to 15-year-old immature kid. And we never got along. We shared words. We did things. I was bad to her family. I was bad to her mom. God rest her soul. I was bad to her family. I was so mean. I was so dumb, so immature. And we grew up with a lot of bitterness and anger and on my end, hate for one another. And I wasted a lot of years sowing seed into not talking and making sure I didn't flow with what she wanted to do. And when I turned 18, I moved out. And it kind of shifted the rest of my life, and it kind of made way for me to make decisions, good and bad, that came from that. But me and my mom shared a really, really bad relationship. And I promise it gets good. I'm not going to stay on it being such a negative, or even some of the personal stuff that me and my mom went through. But I remember I was 24 years old. I had already been married for 4 years. I had 2 kids, and I was so ugly. I was so ugly on the inside. And I never really realized and never went into the subconscious of my heart and saw why I was that way. And I remember one time, I'll be completely honest with you, we were driving up Riverside, down Van Buren, for those of you that are from Riverside, and we were driving down Van Buren, and I remember saying such ugly things to my wife. And I didn't realize that my wife turns to me, she goes, "Why are you like that? Why do you get so angry right away? Why aren't you calm when things are easy to handle? Why are you so angry, quick to be a nut job, quick to be a head case, and just be completely ugly with my words and expressing ugliness?" And I didn't know an answer right then, but I asked God to help me. And I said, "I don't know." And she goes, "Maybe from how everything went when you were younger with your mom." And I never really thought about it, but I realized when I was about 24, 25 years old that I was using my relationship and lack thereof with my mom as an excuse to act out and act in ways that weren't right. I didn't know how to love my wife. Why? Because I didn't know how to love my mom first. It's the first relationship you get with a woman is a son and a mother. And I realized that I didn't know how to love my wife. I didn't know how to respect her. I didn't know how to express myself in anger, because it says be angry but sin not, right? I didn't know how to express my anger, and I didn't know how to do it in a manner that was respectful, and I didn't know how to express, because I was always so quick to fight. I was always so quick to lash out emotionally and verbally, and I was being abusive verbally with the people around me in every relationship. And I was about 24 years old, and I let it sit on my heart for a few months, and I was 25. This was 5 years ago, and I decided that I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Well, me and mom don't get along. I don't know how to love. Well, you don't know what me and my mom went through, or you don't know what words she shared with me. You don't know, you don't know what it feels like to be a kid and experience what I was experiencing. I was being very selfish and using it as a crutch and an excuse for me not to grow up, and me not to learn to love, and for me not to learn to be better. I was using it as a crutch, and I saw an excuse, and I saw a weight on my shoulder, so to speak. And I decided when I was 25 years old, I went to my mom's house. I drove up, my mom and dad were there, and I sat her down and I said, Mom, I want to talk to you. And my mom already at this time, we kind of already knew the dynamic of a relationship. There was a lot of things left unsaid. Not that things were still the same, but they were left unsaid. And I sat down with her and I said, Mom, I apologize for everything that I've done to you. All the hurt, all the ugly words, all the things that I've done to you. I'm so sorry. I said, forgive me. I said, because now I'm using it as an excuse to act out and be a certain way in my relationships as a husband with my wife, as a father with my kids. I said, forgive me. And at that moment, I felt like the old stuff, it would still linger in memory, but I was able to adjust it and say, that's not who I am no more. That's not what I'm going to hang on to. And my idea of a relationship wasn't just anger and hurt because I was so damaged. And I believe that's what kind of the enemy does to your heart. He wants you damaged goods early. So by the time you're ready to establish relationships with your family as a husband, a wife, a mom, a father, you're damaged. And I believe that the enemy did his best job to get me to that point, and I became that. And I felt this weight lifted off me, and my mom so kindly looked at me and she said, I forgive you. And I wasn't expecting anything in return. I just wanted something off my heart, and my mom apologized to me. She said, Georgie, forgive me for X, Y, and Z, for all the things that we've been through, for all the ugly, all the hurt, all the nasty. She asked for my forgiveness. And I'm only sharing this because sometimes in life, I was at a funeral within the last few months, and I heard a gentleman say he was much older, that, he waited years, 20, 30 years of holding on to hurt and not taking care of it. And I'm only sharing this so that somebody out there can be encouraged. If especially with family and mothers and fathers and damaged relationships that are so vital to your life, such as a mother's and close family, go and talk to that person. Life is so short. One of the greatest blessings I think somebody can have is perspective. And that's my dog. I was 25 at that time. I'm 30 now. And the last 5 years of my mom's life, I enjoyed a loving, rebuilt, revitalized relationship with my mom. It was beautiful. I could call her every day and just shoot whatever and laugh and talk and be funny. But it wasn't until I addressed things in my heart and I addressed things that were left unsaid, kind of swept under the carpet because we become older. I remember my mom forgiving me. I remember asking for her forgiveness, and I remember a reconciliation with my mom. And this video is not to point out flaws of myself or flaws of another, but to say that even when things are meant to be bad, they can become good. And even when you become damaged goods, there's still a plan for you to be great. And there's still a plan for you to be healthy and whole, emotionally, spiritually. You don't have to stay in hurt. You don't have to stay using, well, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know how it was. You don't know how it's like. This is why I'm this way. This is why I'm acting out. This is why. This is the reason why. You can make a decision to go to that person and ask for forgiveness. If it's your mom, it's your dad. If it's the absentee of a father, if it's an absentee of a mother. I mean, there's so many different things and different ways that a person becomes damaged goods over hurt in their life. This video is to just inspire you to, hey, go make things right. Take the time that you have today to make things right. They say that in every life you get a coin, and that value of that coin is time, and you only get to spend it once. And hopefully this can encourage somebody to spend it in living in peace with one another, and living in as great of a relationships you can with one another. I'm so very grateful for the time that I had with my mom. I do miss her. I think of her often, but they're good memories. You can get there, and you can have those kinds of things with your parents. They're obtainable. Relationships that were bad aren't impossible to fix. They can be fixed. If I shared some of the stuff that me and my mom went through, you guys would probably look at me like you were a fool, and dang, that was done. Wow. But, we'll put that into the blood. But you can fix those relationships. I encourage everybody to go and if it's forgiveness that you need to give it. If it's forgiveness that you need, go and seek it and go and find it. And I just want to tell you guys, God bless you. And I hope you guys are enjoying this video. And just hope and pray that it inspires somebody to be better than what they are if they can be. Okay? Bye, guys.